Good afternoon and welcome to Keeping Up in the Quad Cities. I'm Johnny Marks, and I know we are just around the corner. I don't know where Lindsey Lindberg finds the time, but she's decided to take a few minutes out of her day to share with us. Her official title is Fair Office Manager of the Rock Island County Fair and Fairgrounds, and I'm sure that's pick up trash, haul stuff, everything else that goes up, falls underneath that. Lindsey, first of all, thank you. And where do you stand right now? Is it nervous time because July 18th is just around the corner?
Yeah, so we're starting to tighten up all the screws. It's we did have a grandstand event that we kind of had to switch out. So now we did introduce 2 monster truck shows this year, which is something we have not done. But we're really excited because last year the Monster Truck Show was a very big event. It was our biggest event we've had in a long time. I know that we ran out of parking, so people were parking down the road. So we are really happy to have a second one. And then something we haven't done since the 90s is a rodeo. So we're reintroducing that, and that's we're very excited to be welcoming a rodeo this year as well.
So how difficult is it to A, bring something back like the rodeo, and then to add an extra show monster truck wise? Obviously we all love that stuff. You plan for one and then you have an opportunity to bring 2. Is that difficult in planning, or does that make it a whole lot easier for you, just people to stay and do it all over again?
Well, it can go either way for us, really. We have not done this before, so this is new for us, and we're not really sure how it's going to go. We anticipate a really good turnout to both because it was so popular, and then additionally, the second added shows on a Tuesday, which is always just a little rougher of a day for us anyway, because people are working during the week, and we typically have these bigger shows on the weekends, Friday, Saturday. However, we decided to pair it up with like our unlimited wristband day that we have with the carnival. So we're hoping that that'll drive a little more, few more of the people of the Quad Cities to come out the same day.
Talk to me about staying traditional, and it's hard. Everybody wants to do certain things, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody with music acts, because that's how revenue is made. I understand that, but you've always stayed true to, and I use that as an example of the 4-H side of things, and I want you to talk about that. How difficult is it in today's world to stay true to the so-called fair theme?
Well, that's a really good question. We are very lucky that we have such loyal families who have been coming to the fair since we've opened our doors practically. I mean, we have 2 people on the board right now whose families have been involved with the Rock Island County Fair since 1950s. So, I mean, yeah, so we, and a couple other board members, I mean, they've been on since, the 60s or the 70s. So we are very lucky to have families like that who just continue to bring their children and their grandchildren. And now we have great grandchildren. So we've been very lucky to have those same exhibitors. And then many of our fairgoers, specifically for the agricultural shows, like livestock in particular, they all live out in the rural areas. So they're bringing their friends to the fair with us. And the 4-H clubs do such a fabulous job at getting kids who are not already from these rural communities. So we have a lot of kids who, they may not be involved with the livestock, but they're getting involved in the fair in other ways, like in our exposition buildings, which is where we might have arts and flowers, vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. So that's been a really helpful aspect of the fair, and to help continue keeping these kids involved in agriculture and these clubs for their families in the future, and so on and so forth. So it's just the cycle we see with the families involved with the fair.
I always found the ag part you would see a minimum of 3 generations of
Yes.
Grandpa being there, very happy, a grandson or granddaughter showing whatever it might be, and then mom and dad standing proud off to the side. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's yes. A great point to have 3 generations. Talk to me a little bit about the fine arts building. It's something that's added, and we'll get to year-round attractions. It's something that lends itself hugely to your fair week.
Yeah, so these buildings, specifically the floriculture, seems to be our most popular show in the exposition building, but we have other departments. So we have junior home economics, which is something that Again, it might be for those kids who are not involved with livestock or who are involved in livestock and they just enjoy drawing, taking pictures. So we have those departments. We also, well, I mentioned floriculture, excuse me. We also have textiles, which is, knitting, sewing, all that fun stuff. And then we also have fine arts, which will be our photographers, our painters, artists. We had a gentleman that we actually made a class for because we didn't have anywhere to put his items, but he makes dioramas, which were really, really neat. So we have all those available. We actually have 2 buildings now with those items. So in the first building, we'll have most of our bigger departments like floriculture and the junior home economics, but the 4-H kids also display their general projects in there. So they'll have really cool displays for each 4-H club. And so we just absolutely filled that building last year. And it just adds a little something to the fair that people can just look into while they're perusing the fair, just some more stuff to look at.
And I know if you walk down the hall of your office, you're not going to see a lot of people. You make do with a pretty small staff that does great work. I looked at your fair board. It is a group of dedicated, like-minded people. You need volunteers to make that run. Talk about the people, talk about your board and the people, your staff, your team, and then talk about the people that come in out of the goodness of their heart to make sure something is still going on 130 plus years.
Yeah, so that's also a really good question because things kind of changed when COVID came around. So I joined the team at the Rock Island County Fair in 2021, and many of our volunteers either weren't comfortable coming back or had just gotten up there in age and just weren't able to help the way they could before. So for the last 2 years, it's really just been me in the office. I was the only employee. And the board really had to come together to put the fair together because it can't all fall on one person's shoulders. It's a large event. We serve anywhere between 20 to 25,000 people during the week. So we do have 2 wonderful ladies, Ellie and Miranda. They come in every year for the fair. Ellie, I believe it's been 17 years that she's been coming in just for the fair. She's a teacher during the rest of the year. So she comes in during summer and she really handles the stuff on the back end. I mean, I don't know what we'd do without her. We love her dearly. And Miranda is her daughter, and she's been helping for a while as well. And she actually just got a position as a teacher too. So both of these ladies are really involved with the community. And then as far as the board goes, I mean, they're doing everything in the background, like the beer tent you see, someone's got to put up those lights, someone's got to help coordinate the sound guys. Someone has to help take care of the carnival because we contract that out too. So we have different contacts for all the different parts of the fair that you might not think about, like camping and who's going to get the power turned on and the hot water turned on or all that stuff. So it is a huge team effort, and it really takes a part for every single person on the board to do their part in getting the fair put together.
Talk about the Midway. Everybody wants to go ride something. And I'll ask you a personal favorite. I bet you don't even have 5 minutes to stop and enjoy that. And then everything under the sun that anybody wants food-wise can be found at a fair. As somebody whose heart has no business dealing with deep fried, I can find it wherever I want. Is there a favorite for you? And since COVID, have you seen a rise in people offering food or coming or wanting to be there? And talk about the Midway first and then fair food.
Yeah, so the Midway, we have seen a good increase in fairgoers that enjoy it. And we love the carnival that we have. We use CDAC, and they are just, they're super reliable, and they offer a good variety. Yeah, they offer a good variety of rides. And the unlimited ride wristband, that is always a plus. That is a huge thing for us, both for the fair and for the carnival. Those are big nights for us. So we are very lucky to have them, and they've got their own selection of food as well. They bring a couple trailers. And then as far as fair food, I know I really love funnel cakes. I don't know many people who don't like funnel cakes, but my very first year, I had to ask the vendor. I said, I've been working really hard. I would really love one of these funnel cakes. And they came and they hand delivered me a funnel cake with all the works. Yeah, so it was that's just a classic. But otherwise, there is a Chinese food trailer that I really enjoy and seems to be a really popular choice at the fair. But yeah, we have a very big variety of food offered. I know we have a gal who offers German style food. And yeah, she comes back every year now. We have a gentleman who does chicken-based dishes. His nickname's Chicken Pete, so we call him. Yeah.
I love
And
it.
then, yeah, and then we have a barbecue place, the Chinese food trailer, and then we have a gentleman who brings like slushies and ices and stuff like that. So that's also very popular, especially with the weather we get that week usually.
How many people still ask, and I'm that guy who did it once, loved it. How many people still ask about Demolition Derby? I think as much as monsters trucks are cool, Demolition Derby gets my blood. I know I'm that old guy, but that's a pretty cool part of the fair as well.
Yes, it is still our most popular event, I think. I'm getting people who, I mean, just this week, I had someone, he's coming from Ohio and he would like to come to our demo derby. And I had a gentleman, they have a guy from the UK who's doing some kind of segment about coming to the US and seeing some of the different like cultural aspects of the different parts. And they specifically want to come to the fair to do the demo derby, to watch the demo derby. So I just think that's a big part of many of the fairs here in the Midwest. The demo derby is a very popular event.
How important, and I looked at your Facebook page in the last couple of days and I saw a 1964 photo of Queen contestants. And there's something important when it comes to pageant queens. There's scholarship dollars available. There's an opportunity to compete at the next level. How important is it, and is it still a big part of your fair?
It's a huge part of our fair. And to be frank, the fair queen is kind of the face of the fair for us. I mean, they really have a year-long commitment. And it's not just, you go to the pageant and you win. Okay, great. Now you're the queen. This is, I mean, it is a full-time commitment. These ladies are going to the airport to greet people on the, the honor flights. They're going to all kinds of different parades. They're doing lots of charitable different acts. And then of course, each year there's a convention down in Springfield where all of the county fair queens compete. And that's a really big one because you are representing our county when you go down to that convention and you're competing for the state fair competition. So they work really hard to get there. We have a queen pageant committee that handles all of it because there is so much that goes into getting these pageants put together. And someone's got to tote these ladies around when they're going to other events during the year. And I just don't have the time.
I love it. I love it. Tell me how important it is to make sure that something of this nature, and I understand COVID was hard on everybody, is brought to light every July. And again, there's a name that goes to it. Rock Island County is a big place and it's important. How is it important to you to understand, and to people in this area, how vital this event is to our community?
Well, I have to say that this kind of circles back to agriculture. I mean, that's probably the biggest part of our fair. And the issue we see is a lot of the kids today are not super educated in how important agriculture is, and they don't understand what goes into it. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you walk through our fair, you'll notice a lot of the exhibits we have are down by the livestock. And it's because, we have a dairy barn and then a birthing barn. So we have, I mean, anywhere between 3 to 5 calves that are born every year during the fair. And yeah, and so you'll learn a lot about all the work that goes into, breeding these calves, and what kind of things we look for when we're, farming our dairy cattle, farming, our crops. So like in the exposition building, you might see, beans, or you might see hay. Because I don't think people quite understand, there's so much more that goes into it than just growing it and then harvesting. You got to look at quality, all sorts of stuff. So I think we really bring a lot to the table in regard to education about agriculture and how important it is today. And I think how centrally located we are, it's a really neat thing to have in that particular area of East Moline.
It's vital to again, as somebody who grew up in Rock Island County, vital. And it should never go away. Talk to me about this doesn't end July 22nd for you. I know that there's always something going on, and you try to make sure that your site is up and busy as often as possible. We all know the standard stock car racing. I love it, but there's always something going on in the fairgrounds. Can you expound a little on that for us?
Yeah, so the Rock Island County Fair Association, we're a nonprofit. So a lot of our facility rentals and events during the year are actually donated. So we basically donate our facility for free to organizations like the 4-H Club, the home extension of Illinois. So they don't pay to have their events there, and they hold their fundraisers there. But so yeah, facility rentals. We have a flea market that happens 3 times a year, and that's a very popular event at our fairgrounds. We have a toy show, and they donate a lot of their proceeds to various organizations. So like Toys for Tots was their most recent fundraiser. Yeah, so we have that, and of course the stock car races, which we got a new promoter, so we've not had a ton of those this year. Just they're doing a lot of renovations right now on the track. So we're really excited to open that up and for people to see all the hard work they've been putting into that as well.
Lindsey, if I walked in that gate on just off, excuse me, it's 23rd Avenue to me, but Avenue of the Cities because I'm old. Because if I walked in that gate, what would it cost me to ride unlimited? What would it cost me to get in the fair? What would it cost me to see the Demolition Derby, monster truck, rodeo, etc.? Give me some things and how people can go to find this information.
Yeah, so we are in the process right now of updating everything just because we've had, some differences in a couple of the events we have. So when you walk in the gate, it's actually free to enter the fair until 8 p.m. After 8 p.m., it's $5 for people 13 and up. As far as the unlimited ride wristbands, it is $30, which we did have an increase just because we're seeing a lot of increases in costs. So we have to kind of offset that way. So the carnival did increase their rates there, but it's $30. That's on Tuesday and Saturday. And that information will be up to date on the website. So that is on the website. And then our events all have different prices too. So because the monster trucks are kind of new and we're doing 2 nights, we're offering a little bit of a cheaper rate than what it was last year. So for adults, which will be ages 13 and up, it's $25 per ticket. $10 for children 6 to 12, and then it's free for children 5 and under. However, Tuesday night we have a unlimited wristband evening, and so this is the first time we've done this too, but it'll be for every child that has an unlimited ride wristband, they will get in free with a paid adult. So that's 12 and under. So we'll offer that, and then we will be offering a 2-night for $40 deal as well. So you'll be saving $10 if you go ahead and buy both nights for the monster truck show.
What I'd like to tell people that I have respect for what you do is please don't change. I know that you have 1,000 different things thrown at you every day, and you have to dodge those. But the Rock Island County Fair is important to our community on a variety of fronts, including adding to our local economy. Please don't change. I appreciate your time today. Thank you, and we appreciate all you've done for us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.